How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to do the gameplay and review of this little beast, the Caterpillar 745C, or not so little beast actually. Yeah, so we'll see how she goes. First thing we'll do, we'll check out the customisations. There's not a whole lot on this one, but there's enough, I'll show you. So obviously I've got the top engine in, same one as the twin steer. It's definitely, you can see from like the power to weight and that goes up. Yeah, I got the advanced special gearbox. It's just a better version of the special. It's got more low range gears, it's got an extra auto gear. There's no raised suspension. Tyres, there's not a whole lot of choice. I was having a little look through because it comes with them bottom ones as stock, but then as you look through them, even though they're all mud tyres, the like tyre performance changes. You can't see it too well, but it is there. I prefer the look of those sort of tyres, and to be honest, in hindsight, it might be worth getting one of those other meteor looking ones because they might be worse on the road, but who really cares? Like, it's not like this thing's going to be drifting and wheel spinning. Yeah, but I put the second from the top on. Second from the bottom, sorry. Yeah, put a winch on. Not that it really mattered. As for add-ons, you can have this fuel trailer or that container carrier. I'll get into a bit more detail with that later. But they're your options. Basically, you can carry more than a container on it, but like I say, I'll show that later. Diff it's already got on. As for visuals, there's literally, they've added these now, because I'm certain when I looked, when I originally got it, there was only cat rims, but now they've, I think there was anyway, I'm pretty sure there was, but either way I'm going to keep the cat rims. And there's no paint jobs or anything, obviously, because it's, I get it with this, to be honest. Everybody knows Caterpillar yellow, like, it's just, it is what it is. It'd look a bit odd if they were red and blue and all sorts. So anyway, we'll go and take a look. Like, yeah, it's definitely not a small thing. You see me sat in the cab, so it's yeah, bit of a chunky beast. So a little look inside. Obviously it's a centre cab here, so there's a little ice scraper at the top. Yeah, when I look round, the view out the back, there's like a cover thing sort of over the exhaust and everything. It doesn't stick your head out the window either, because you're like in the centre. You rotate your head round further though, this way. You've got like an exorcist neck if you look this way, but you can see all that cover again. I like the digital dash and stuff as well, like the rev counter and that. Oh, wrong button. So that's the horn. Not bad, to be honest. Not the best in game, but it's decent. Yeah, there's the rev counter going. Like I say, it centres my head when I rev, but yeah, nice sensitive rev counter. Happy days. So we'll set off. You can pretty much stick it in the high, especially on like flat level ground as soon as you set off. But with the advanced special gearbox and the special, it's worth putting it in auto when you can. There's no trailers to attach, unfortunately. Obviously you could winch a trailer, but you won't be able to stock that trailer with cargo because you'll be winching it, it won't be connected to you. As you can see though, especially on flat level ground, it isn't that slow really. I think the TUZ 420 is slower than this. Yeah, it's ticking along nicely in auto. I tried it over this first bit just because the other day I think I did the White Western Star over here in auto and it wasn't too happy about it, but this thing just stayed as it was. I then put it in high. Like I say, high is slightly lower than the top gear auto, and it's not as bad for dropping out of high gear in, like top gear in auto. But yeah, stuff like this, I usually stick it in high through this sort of terrain, but obviously because we're testing it, I just wanted to see how much it complains. But yeah, even here in the highlights, ticking through no problem. It's one of these trucks, to be honest, where the weight of it and everything and the size of the tyres, sometimes the deeper and sloppier the mud or the snow or whatever, it actually digs in more and you go fine rather than wheel spinning. I put it in a high-low as I came around there. I tried to bang it in high, but it is definitely, you got to build a little bit of speed up before you just stick it in high, especially going up a hill. You can see there with the tyres, especially the inside rear tyres, do have a bit of a habit. They can just spin and eat a lot of your power when they're not all on the ground. But again, it bobs along quick enough. As I turn around here, there's just I left this bit in to sort of highlight the steering. If you look when I'm turning, sometimes it turns the front nose sometimes it basically skids the background, so you can see there it was kind of pushing the background first, and then when I'm fully articulated it then like obviously grips in and it turns. But yeah, again, as see there, like that's best example really. The back's swinging round first, and the way it'll catch you out is obviously sometimes you go to steer and you've got to wait 2 seconds almost before until the back's swung round, which is what you don't want to turn in a way. Yeah, so it can catch you out a little bit like that, but it's you soon get used to it. Like I say, I quite like this thing. It's not the most useful, but it has got its moments, I think. So down here, I thought I'd just stick it in auto, and we'll yeah, when you get downhill with the wind behind you, that's about top speed. I honestly was going to try and avoid the tree, but I ain't complaining about it. But yeah, it ate the tree, which was nice. Generally speaking, speed is your friend if you want to kill a tree. Weight helps, but you've seen even some of the little scouts knock trees over when they can go fast enough. Slow stuff like the P16 is just too slow to knock most trees over. As I come round here, look, I even put it in high now just to see, and it drove out of there rather than wheel span. This is where this video is a little bit longer because there's a few little things where I just wanted to highlight its strengths, that it doesn't excel in the same way some of the other stuff does, so I think it deserved just a few little demonstrations. But yeah, all along there I was in high. Like again, the boggier the mud, it just digs in and flies rather than wheel spins. As for bouncing all over these rocks, it's not impossible to take damage, and bear in mind it's a bit, well, it is slower than stuff like the Taiga, etc. So, but all along here, everything I hit, I didn't take one suspension damage. I think there is a bit later somewhere in the video I hit something and take 1 damage, but yeah, but generally speaking, you're gonna have to do something pretty special to try and smash the suspension up, because yeah, you're going to run out of fuel and everything long before you're going to smash that from natural gameplay. Even along here again, there's some pretty juicy rocks, and it's yeah, that one, I hit it hard enough to get a bit of air off it, so yeah, she's a tough old girl. So anyway, we're going to go to this Black River bit. This is, yeah, the Black River crossing that's a pain in the arse to most things. And to be honest, again, this first bit is particularly boggy, but look at it, it drives straight over that tree. And it's things like this where you might actually find a use for this, because, again, if you're doing missions in Black River and you might need to come over here, you could just bring this here, even with a fuel trailer on the back, so it's also a bit of a fuel stop. But you can use it as like a ferry, but not obviously a ferry, just winch everything across stuff like this, because most other stuff goes a lot slower. This is the first vehicle I've drove through it that I haven't just edited the middle out to save time, because, well, look at it, it just drove through there at the speed it drives. It's one of them things where it's fairly slow, but it does just about everything at this speed. It's pretty rare you find something that slows it down considerably. So anyway, next up we're at Northport, just coming out of Northport Garage. Do this quick little snow test here, and look at it, it's fine. I put it in high, and it's like it doesn't even care if it's on snow. Snow's another one where it seems to actually help, it sort of digs in and it's fine. These barriers, a little hesitation there for half a second, but nothing to write home about. And yeah, it's definitely, especially that you're not really going to be winching trailers with it much, you can climb over what you like. Just notice there, the rear wheel, like they slide off the rock, just bear that in mind for later. That was just a good example. I like the engine noise, by the way. If you let off the throttle for like half a second and then rev it again, it does that engine noise. Yeah, I popped it in, I just wanted to see how it'd get up there, but yeah, put it in high-low with the diffs on. And again, like, no problem. Trees, it doesn't notice or anything. It just goes at this speed and that's it. I say snow is, like, I think it's particularly good, and I wanted to give this a try, even though I wouldn't recommend it. But like I said, because it's particularly in Alaska, because the rocks are all slippy, it really doesn't like them. The tyres are not suited really to rocks. Like, it likes ground that deforms and it can dig into. It's definitely not a fan of hard, solid, like the roads, the icy roads, but even, yeah, anything really that's got no give to it. But it didn't fall that time. I like the fact that the back end does kind of rise and fall and it articulates side to side. So I came here to do a cargo test and I was like, ah shit, I ain't got the bloody cargo thing on. So I nipped back. So this is what I was saying with this frame add-on. That container carrier, you can add other things, and I've just left a bit of extra footage in here, but yeah, I just wanted to say a couple of things. There's a YouTuber guy called SD11, and it's like SD1 the number and then 1 the word, but I've watched his videos for years. He's made SnowRunner video, he does comparison videos. He's yeah, I've enjoyed his content for ages, and amazingly he got in contact the other day because he wanted to he was asking about if he could use some of the tips in a video, which I was more than happy. Like, he literally didn't have to go to the effort he did. Like, just because I've got a video on him, there's nothing to prove that he didn't come up with them himself. Like, all my tips I did, they're original to me. I didn't go around other people's videos. But yeah, he didn't have to do that, but for his own peace of mind he did. So he's a nice guy. Like, he's a nice, yeah, I had a quick chat with him and he's like, he's a good dude. So but it was, funnily enough, it was watching one of his comparison videos with between this and the Antarctic thing, and that I noticed he had metal planks on the back of his thing, which is when I noticed that you don't just have to carry a container. And then when I went and tested it, I also figured out you can have single cargo on the back, so you don't, obviously you're not limited to just a container, but you're also not limited to double-sized cargo. You can have, like here, 2 boxes of consumables. And yeah, to be honest, I'm glad it's all happened the way it has, because I nearly mentioned his comparison videos the other day. By the way, the turning circle's actually pretty damn impressive. I would have said it was nearer the Twin Steer, but having done it, it's nearer the ANK and the White Western Star. Yeah, I nearly mentioned saying you should check out his comparison videos, but I know it might sound stupid, but I didn't want to seem like, oh, am I just trying to butter up bigger YouTubers in hopes for something in return. But no, now, like, I'm glad it's all happened. So at this point, this is why I left this extra bit in, just to get all this out. You really should check his comparison videos out, because they're bloody good. They give you a lot of good information. Like I say, he does this versus the Antarctic, and I won't really give anything away. I already tested both of them before I seen that video of his, but when I seen it pop up in like my recommended and that, I was like, yeah, I want to see like his opinions. He's done a hell of a lot of comparison video. Like, he's a beast on MudRunner and all sorts, so I wanted to see what his tests were showing, and it kind of confirmed. Again, I won't go into it, but personally I prefer this over the Antarctic. But yeah, I just like, he's a good dude, and he's got good videos. The comparison video, he does stuff like the 2 collabs back to back, the Derrys, and often it's like split screen and you can watch them both at the same time doing the same assault course thing, and they're just good. So yeah, I just wanted to mention it, that the chances are, obviously it's not really gonna, I'm like a little stickleback in the YouTube pond, he's like a big fat juicy bluefin tuna, but so it's not really gonna help him as much. He, like, I really appreciate it, he gave me a shout out basically because he used a couple of my tips, but I know this shout out for him isn't really going to do anything on that scale, but more just on the off chance any of my viewers haven't found his content, I genuinely recommend it. Like, it's I've watched them for years and I still watch them now, and yeah, they're bloody handy. Like, my particular favourite is the comparison videos, because you can just see them next to its closest competitor, and it's pretty interesting sometimes, the results. Like, again, with the collab video, I won't give anything away, but I thought the other one would have been better, is all I'll say, but that definitely showed me a lot of interesting things that I didn't realise. So, yeah, we're back to normal. That last bit, sorry, I just raced through it, drove through at normal speed. That's probably one of the best vehicles through that cut-through from Northport to, like, the fuel station. This water test, absolutely... like, it doesn't even know that it's in water. This is only really shallow water, but yeah, it's just ticking along. That's what it tends to do, to be honest. It just goes at its own slow but steady pace, and that's it, really. When I was interested to try this bit because obviously it's a pretty wide old beast, and this rock's pretty narrow. And I don't think this will always happen. I think if I could have gone at a bit of an angle, I probably could have bounced over, but it's just the perfect width that it practically wedged my tyres in rather than just drive over, so as you can see, yeah, I wasn't too happy about it, and I had to winch to a tree in front to pull myself over. I actually came back later because I forgot to do the interior footage again, so I just closed this, went back. I tried to get through there again, the exact same thing. Tyres got stuck, had to winch myself just to force them through. But after I'm through there, like, there's deep snow. It slows for a second, but I might have even let off the revs as well. Yeah, shallow or deep snow, it doesn't really seem to care. So it is a little bit of interior gameplay while I'm actually driving. To be honest, I'd say actually this vehicle is one that possibly even benefits from being in the interior. Again, you can see my neck can only go so far around that way. I've got like Exorcist neck that way, and I can see this seat headrest and stuff, whereas I can't quite the other way. Yeah, because you're in the middle of the cab, and what I was saying, when you turn, sometimes the back will go first, sometimes the front will go first. It's very easy to judge what's happening with the nose of your vehicle, whereas when you're in third person, it doesn't always like give you that instant feedback, just that feel of like, you know which one's going, whereas in here, obviously, because you're just looking at the nose of it, I can tell exactly what my steering's doing and how quickly it's reacting to it. So yeah, it's probably one of the few where interior might even possibly be the best view of the two. So as we're coming through here, I'll be honest, I cut a bit out, but the first time I smashed through it, I actually got stuck, but I ended up quite far over to the left, and I didn't think it was very fair, because I hit it at a bit of a crap angle. But as you can see, though, it wasn't too happy. Like, the Derry Longhorn didn't like going over hills, so to speak. This one is a bit iffy with dips, particularly sharp dips. But yeah, around there it's all fine. Through here is no problem at all. In the end, I banged it in a high-low and put the diffs on, and then it just walks straight through. But even if I didn't put that on, it would have got through. So next up, and to be honest, I didn't have high hopes for this because it's just not the sort of vehicle you'd want to take across this. But again, remember the slippy rock situation. This is what, like, if you remember, this happened with the Dan video. As I bump, my left wheel goes up, my right one hits the lip, and it just starts forcing me over to the right. I put it in high-low, put the diffs on, see if that helps. It still pushes me to the right, but then it bumps up. However, the back swings round, drops off the lip, and I cut about a minute or two out here, but eventually it started to climb back up. But slippy rocks, the wheels just don't grip well on rock, so it slides off to the side. I was starting to think, because the water level's not the best on it either, but I only took a tiny bit of damage, managed to get my nose back up here. But then as you see, as I'm turning, it just slips off that side. And I cut this, but I'm just going to drive up this hill. It was just slow and there's no point. The video's already a little bit long because there's a few extra examples. Through here, this snowy bit didn't catch its chin. Drives through, that's deep snow, that slows a lot of stuff down just there. And after I'm back out of there, I stick it in the high. It's one of the few vehicles all along here is like alternating deep and shallow snow. And this thing doesn't really care whether it's deep or shallow. It just grips and carries on at this speed basically. And I left this bit in as well because I sometimes cut across here. I don't always leave it in the video though, because a lot of them get stuck down in this bit. But I mean, look at it. If you go and try and drive a vehicle through that, it's the Northport pipeline. It's near where you rescue the Hummer. Like, that's the best thing I've ever seen drive through there. Next up is this mud. I remember, like, when I first came here with this, it really didn't do well through here, but I believe I didn't have the biggest engine. I probably had the stock engine and stuff. In here now, I felt more confident even coming up to it. I've also got the advanced special now, so I've probably got like the high-low, not just the basic low. Yeah, if you've seen, I approached from the left edge, so if I carried on along the left edge, I probably would have been fine, but I wanted to go somewhere deep enough to see what happens when the nose catches. I left this in because as I winch out, I'm not turning right now, I'm trying to fully turn left, but the power of the winch is basically forcing my nose back around to the right, so I just thought I'd leave that in, that it's not got unlimited power to force the articulation anywhere it likes. Like that winch overpowered me basically and made me like bend the other way. That's what she said. Yeah, anyway, mud, it was good to be honest. It did alright through there. This is a snow test. See, I like the way it sort of articulates left and right and up and down. I didn't really feel it that much from the Antarctic, which has the same basic setup, like an articulated middle. But yeah, climbing up here, I mean, obviously it's a bit slower than stuff like the Taiga and so on, but it's a big, beastie, chunky vehicle. As I get here, it almost, I was going to say beached, but if you actually look, I don't think it's beached. I think it's the bloody rocks. It's just slipping on again. Because I'm now on more bare rock than snow, so I reversed, went on the actual snow, and again, look at it, as soon as it's in snow, something that deforms that it can dig into. However, back end hits that rock, slips out to the right, and that's just enough to tip me. And again, because the articulation isn't like unlimited, I can't just wiggle like a worm now. I did try, but I cut it out because there's no point. Like, I can't just force myself up in the air. See, little things like this is where I think it excels. Like, this is in Zimnegorsk, say from the garage if you're heading towards a TUZ or the oil platform. And I think it's even quicker through this stream. This is a pretty deep stream with a strong sideways current and a boggy floor. And I drive straight through it. This bit, again, it's the same road, but even the ANK really goes, like, it slows down a lot in this particular bit. That's like deep, sloppy mud. This thing, again, it just barely notices. So, again, this is another example where if I wanted to bring cargo and stuff down here, which you have to a couple of times, you might be better just winching, like, load the ANK up with what you need, but then just attach this and winch it, or if you have to get the TUZ because you have to go this way, it's probably quicker to just winch a little scout vehicle with you, and then when you get to this point where it's like up them concrete slabs, just jump in your scout vehicle and just nip in the trees to get the TUZ. But honestly, on some serious roads, this thing just plods along a lot better than a lot of stuff. So I wanted to come to the quarry because, again, there's just a few things I think it deserves demonstrating, really. There's one weakness with its nose. Unlike the Dan, though, it has barely any suspension movement, and the tyres almost feel like solid rubber, so when you bounce down, it doesn't chuck the nose down towards the ground like the Dan does. And them rocks I just drove over, they were the meaty rocks that the White Western Star wasn't happy with. So again, like, this is double cargo on it, you're not just restricted to containers or anything. It can, I believe, have any. I've put cement on it, bricks, wooden planks, consumables, metal planks, this thing, so I think it can have everything. So I got, like, that's a pretty meaty rock as well. I'd definitely say that's meaty. Just driving over a rock now that doesn't even notice. It's not quite meaty, I'd say it's juicy. That's my scale. Pebble, small rock, juicy rock, meaty rock, boulder. So yeah, it drives over meaty and juicy rocks, which is pretty good. Another, it walks up here. It's got, I know it's only got one cargo, but I don't think it'd struggle that much with a trailer, as long as it's not silly loaded and it's not too much of a monster. You see there, though, it basically sliding my nose forward and it was just gripping with the rear wheels. I just brought that. That was that trailer that freaked out at the end of the tips video the other day. Came in here, was like, fuck it, make it. Fuck that, I don't care. I'm not paying for it, it don't matter. Anyway, we're back on the White Valley now, on the airport. This is just an example. That's high-low. That's high, that's a little bit faster. And then that's auto, which again, if you can, especially if you're on stuff like roads. These wheels, though, will wheel spin on, like, icy roads. If you try and do a standing start up a hill, an icy hill, it won't like it. Yeah, not the best for flying off there. But I had to know. Put a little Azov. I'd write on the bottom of that, like, if you can read this, get a tow truck. Yeah, the Azov's a little beast. The reason I'm reversing it now, I was trying to work out where the air filter is. Like, is it towards the back or is it towards the front? And I believe, after a few tests, it's basically like at the front on the engine, or possibly underneath the headlights. There's two little gaps. But what I originally thought, you see, like, behind the headlight, there's like a grill, Whereas you look on that side, it's blanked off yellow, but on the right side, there's like it's almost looks black because it's a grill. I thought, oh, the snorkel must be there, or not snorkel, but air filter. But I'll show you in a second why I don't think it is. So yeah, I drove in front to do the damage test. As you see here, it drops off pretty quick, but it yeah stalls it. It's not. I'm not all the way in, and it stalls it, and that's it. It ain't. Water is not its biggest strength. See, this was the reason I just put this in quickly, because I came back to just demonstrate something else. It drives fairly slow along the runway, a flat road, but it's going just as fast along the side of the runway, and there's tree stumps and bricks and rocks and everything here, so that's stuff like that where it's a lot of trucks would feel that, or they'd have a lot of damage by the time they just race down there, whereas this thing, yeah, did pretty well at that. When it dives off here, it wasn't happy this first time. This time I was like, send it, see what happens. Yeah, took a bit of a smack on the engine there. Oh, it's still good. Oh crap, maybe not. See, that it's more the back went then, and it rolls the front over afterwards. It was just, I suppose, a good little demo of the damage it takes. You definitely, if you whack the engine, it knows about it. So I damaged it again, but not too much. I managed to get down. And what I wanted to, like, again, test out was, I thought that black grill thing I was on about was the air filter, so I wanted to see what happens if I put the left side in deeper water, but as you can see, it's already taken damage, so that right-hand side grill can't be the air filter, because that was nowhere near the water just then when it was moaning. I think it's at the front, in the middle, basically like where the engine is. Send the mechanic. Lovely little drift, but I was like, oh, don't you do it. Anyway, we need to fix some things. Probably starting with myself, to be honest. But this Azov, I'll do a review on this Azov pretty soon, but it's a beast. It's the first truck I kept that I had to pay full whack for, and I don't regret it. So anyway, just quickly repaired this. We're back in. Look, it's already taken damage. That right-hand side thing is nowhere near in. So I think actually after this, you'll see two gaps under the, like, grills under the headlights. I reckon there might be two air filters, and if you hit either one, there's either two air filters on either side, or there's one slap bang in the middle in front of the engine, because at the back of it, you can see grates there, but I don't think it's there, because, well, yeah, I don't. And then, yeah, in the end, it's I drove it in and drowned it. So anyway, that's about it for the video. In conclusion, my advice would be definitely get it anyway, because it's worth a chunk of dough. It's like, I think I'll look in a sec, it's 130 grand stock, so even if it's not your thing, you could get by without it if you want to sell it, but I personally wanted to keep it. Like I say, you could use it as a ferry. That muddy bit I shown you in Northport, you could just use it to drag other people just through awkward bits on maps. You could just park it there, and that's your little winch ferry that gets everything through this tricky stuff. But yeah, like I say, there it is, 150 grand upgraded. But yeah, that's what I would do. I'd keep it and use it as like that. But if not, sell it. It's a good old chunk of cash. You're going to buy near enough anything you want. You could get a Voron and upgrade it, or even that Azov I just showed you. And there, tell you what, quickly while it's here, you see underneath each headlight there's like them square grates. I reckon that might be the air filters, and I reckon there is one either side basically. So yeah, though, that's about it for today. I hope that helps. I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. By the way, I edited this out, but I was on my way to the quarry. Tried to squeeze through it right about now. I was like, oh no. Oh no. I have made a terrible, terrible mistake. I'm like that fish that swims up your dick. Now it's wedged in, like that's it. So it took me a few minutes, definitely now like, oh my god, I'm going to have to recover to Zimnogorsk. Took a few minutes, but I was wiggling my way out. About now, like, yes, thank you trees, I promise I will never try and squeeze through trees again. I'll go the proper way. Oh, hang on a minute, there's a gap there. Fuck you trees.